by MBA Center. I will tell you, we'll send you ebooks, and we'll tell you what we do. And I've invited a ESCP BSc 2021 student, Yunus Campus. Yunus is going to share his life story, okay? And Yunus is an ESCP LBS graduate. So it means that after ESCP, he joined and his military service. He joined LBS. So Yunus, can you please tell us more about yourself?
Sure. So hey, it's nice to be here. I'm Yunus, 23, grew up in Vienna. Have a Turkish mom, German dad, went to a French high school in Vienna. So I have quite the international background, and which is also why then I decided to go to ESCP, because so as far as I understand, you guys all are at ESCP. It's quite a nice experience. You do 3 years in 3 countries. I was in London, Paris, and in Berlin, so it was a very good time. Then I switched gears a little bit. I came back to Vienna. I did my civil service there for 9 months. I was in a school for children with learning disabilities, and I cooked for them for 9 months. I was alone in the kitchen. And then switching gears again, came back to London, did my master's in finance at LBS. And now I'm working since 4 months now at the ING Bank, which is a Dutch bank in M&A.
Okay. So maybe they can introduce themselves, because we have some time today. So Laura, you're BSc 2024. Hello, Laura Ebert. Laura Ebert. You're BSc 24.
Yeah.
BSc 24.
Yeah,
So what do you want to learn today? What do you expect from today's seminar?
I want to apply to the Master in Sales Management of the ESCP. And I wanted to have like some insights for the application and the whole process.
So you want the MIF at ESCP. So you want to stay at ESCP after ESCP. That's what you're saying?
To apply to ESSEC, it's a French school, and maybe some schools in England.
Okay, so LBS, LSE, Imperial, etc. So you're aiming an MIF. So anyway, Luna, what we'll do is I will also stop by in Paris. Okay. and I will meet you all, maybe we can have a drink in a cafe, discuss all of you. Huh? So you, Luna, I know you because you are my student, and we met. We are both from Belgium, so we met there. Clara, you're BSc 24 as well. Hello, Clara Barouki. No, but Luna, I know you. I know who you are. I know what you want. Luna, Clara Barouki. What are you aiming, Clara? Hello? Clara Barouki, she doesn't want to talk. Okay, so Clara, she BSc, no. Tell me, there's Giulio. Giulio, what are you expecting from today's seminar, from today's class? Giulio? Hello?
Yes, I might want to get some insights about the application and first look into the master's world.
Okay. And same thing, you want to know about, you intend to apply to top schools. And there's Nathaniel. So Nathaniel, what do you expect, Nathaniel, from today's, what are your questions?
Yeah, the same thing as Julio, maybe some knowledge about the masters. Yeah.
Okay. Alors basically, the best thing to do is to start with Yunus. Huh? Alors, tell me, Yunus, what was your mind? What was your approach when you contacted me in what in 21-22? Why did you decide to continue your studies? Why not work directly? And why have you decided to study at LBS and for an MIF? Why go from a general management degree to a specialized degree? Why go from I don't know, continental Europe to the UK? And why study directly after your bachelor's? 3 questions.
Okay, it's quite a few questions. Okay, then let's start with the first one. Why a master's degree? So I think everyone here, it might be interesting also to hear why you guys want to do a master's degree. For me, since I'm from Germany / Austria, and I think also in France a bit similar, it's quite important if you want to go to certain positions, in my opinion, to have a master's degree, which is why for me it was always clear that I needed to do a master's after my bachelor's degree. I didn't want to work too much before that. That is the answer to the first question. Second question, why UK, I think, compared to other countries? So since I said in the beginning, I have a very international background. which is why I like to be surrounded by people that come from international backgrounds. So when I was, for example, in Paris, even though ESCP is quite international, around ESCP you have quite a few French people as well, right? So it's not too that it's international, but I think London is more international. Obviously, you go to a pub, you meet people from all around the world, which is something I really appreciate here. That is why London, and then finally, why finance? Well, I'm good with numbers. I like to work with people face to face. So I think that's the role I'm in right now. So I'm in investment banking. I can combine both things together, and which is the reason why I did the master's in finance. So I wanted to basically have the proper background to be able to do the job I'm doing right now. Plus, it was a very good experience to go to London Business School because you're surrounded by very smart individuals, so you can learn from them every day. You can do group projects with them, and they will all help you. That is something that I didn't have so much at ESCP, but at LBS it was really the case, and it's just a great experience. We also went to Medellin, so to Colombia for a week, so that was also very nice. So there are a couple of things that are very interesting when you do a master's degree, I would say, next to working a little bit as well.
Yes, basically you have to see that the majority of ESCP BSc student will anyway complete a bachelor, master's or an MBA. Okay, because of course a BSc is not enough nowadays. Okay, but of course some will continue and will go for MBAs. So not everybody will go for a master's. Now, basically, I would say that if you go for a master's right after the BSc, means it's financially it's better, because you're going to make a jump very fast. So if you say I'm going to work for a couple of years and then I'll go for a master's or for an MBA, basically the career jump is will be 4 or 5 years after the BSc. So the idea, we will share that with Yunus. So Yunus now is joining an investment bank. Yes, it's so it means that when he's less than 25, you can already join an investment bank. Okay, if you decide to wait, you cannot have the same career aspirations as when you go for a BSc, for a master's. Second of all, the second thing that you have to see is that ESCP is one of the top 10 best business school in Europe. So when you decide to go to study, you don't have much choice. Okay, so the school that you have available could be in the US. Unfortunately, we have too few people from Europe who study in the US, but now we tend to send students to, especially to NYU, Columbia, and Chicago. So always the same time. When you're already an ESCP student, you're not going to study at Duke. Okay, you need a big name. So what are the brands that you can have? You can have yes, Princeton, UCLA, Berkeley, Duke, NYU, Columbia, MIT, that all have specialized masters. Okay. And of course, the other thing that I've noticed is that most ESCP BSc students, when they go for a master's, they go for a specialized master's, okay? Because they say it doesn't make sense after a BSc that is a general management degree to go for another general management degree. So basically, to do in 9 months the exact same thing as what you have done already before, okay? Of course, sometimes you can have a big name and you can say, okay, for a big name, I'm ready to get HEC or whatever, I'm ready to study further, okay? What you have to also to see is that as an ESCP BSc student, ESSEC, the ESSEC and HEC Grande École program are not possible because they don't want BSc students, okay? So they will allow you to go for specialized masters, but not for the Grande École program. You don't have the priority there, okay? So that's why it makes sense to go for specialized masters, because somehow you oblige and basically to go abroad. So I suggest, like Yunus said, ESCP remains a French school somehow. It makes a lot of sense to study, to go to something that is more international. Yunus, have you considered the US? We never considered the US together, no? Is it something that you regret, or no? It's
no, I don't think it's too much my decision. So from my parents, it always came that the US is maybe not something I want to do, and I personally didn't have my own idea about it, so I never considered it. For me, Europe was always the place I wanted to be in. I never really felt that I needed to go to the US, to be honest. I still don't feel like that. I really like where I'm right now.
Okay. So, but basically, basically, it's true that Yunus, anyway, if you go to the US and as a European, they will send you back to London. You have to say to yourself, I prefer to have a network in London, knowing that I will anyway work in London because my work papers are easier to get in London. Even though, now, if we work together, I will tell you about this. But now there's something called STEM program. So after a STEM program, you can study, you can work in the US for 3 years, and then this STEM program can be changed into a residency permit. Okay, that will allow you to work the rest of your life in the US. That's something that is being considered now by the US Senate. Okay, alors basically. Yunus, before we go to the Q&A, how different is LBS from ESCP? Because you see from the outside, you can say, but basically there are 2 great schools. They have the same type of masters. ESCP has MIM, MIF. They even have more specialized masters than LBS. It's probably a more international school somehow because they have 6 campuses. But how is it different from what is the added value when you're already an ESCP graduate? Studying at LBS, what is the added value? What did you get from all that?
So I think the best thing about ESCP, I suppose, is really the traveling in different countries, because I think it's an experience that is unparalleled. It's gonna provide you with personal growth that you cannot get anywhere else. It's very difficult to start again every year and in different countries, maybe even in the country where you don't necessarily speak the language. So I think personal growth wise, as I said, it's an unparalleled experience. On the other hand, I'm not too familiar, of course, with the master's degree at ESCP. I have some friends that do that here in London. I actually saw some of them yesterday. They seem to having quite a bit of fun as well, and they seem to work quite a bit as well. But the difference then to LBS is, so obviously you don't move around. So I think for the master's, you will still move around in 1 or 2 or 3 countries even. I mean, when you do LBS or Imperial or LSE or whatever other university in the UK, you would be moving around, so you would be staying here. And I think the second difference is that ESCP, as far as I understand it, it's 1.5 to 2 years, and you have a placement as well. So as I said, the friend I saw yesterday, he did the placement for 4 or 5 months. It's not too bad. So it depends a bit. Do you want to do a 1-year master or 2-year master? I think so at least he liked what he's doing, right? So he's doing some studying, then he can do the first long internship he ever did. And then he went back to studying, and now he's looking for a proper job, even though job market is very difficult right now anyways. But it's another story. At LBS, you don't have a place, so you don't have an internship, right? So you start, you do 1 year, you're done after 1 year, it's going to go away quite quickly. And it's good for people who want to have the masters, but then want to start to work quickly as well afterwards, right? So that was the case for me. So I just wanted to do 1 year. I have the paper. I want to have my experience, want to specialize in the field. That's what I got out of it. And then I really wanted to start to work and gain some experience in the workplace, which is what I'm doing right now. Now I wish I could go back. I don't like it. It's been 4 months, but yeah, no, I'm pulling through. So it's good to be working as well for now.
Okay, now basically what you have to see is that you have programs that are 2 years long, okay? But as I told you, as an ESCP BSc student, HEC Grande École Programme or ESSEC will not take you. So you go for specialized masters, okay? And specialized masters, as far as I know, all over the world, there are 1-year programs, okay? So basically, the way it works, Yunus will tell us, but it's pretty pretty difficult, because when you start in LBS, for instance, when you have a master in finance, but it could be the same thing if you do the MIM at LBS, is that the job search starts very soon, and before Christmas, you already have your job offer in general, okay? Whereas, of course, if you do a 2-year program, when I say specialized masters, it's not true. If you do the masters in business analytics, for instance, the one of Polytechnique or the one from ESSEC, it's a 2-year program, but it's the only 2 that I know. It's the only 2 specialized masters that are 2 years masters. Okay, so basically, Yunus, can you please tell us how the year work and how the job search works? Because it's you have to know that it's like a race. It's a 9-month race. So you start and you have to look for a job or an internship right after starting the masters. There's no time for fun or to learn. immediately you send your internship, your letters of internship. Can you explain?
Yeah, so that is right, especially if you do a 1-year master. For us, especially, for example, at London Business School, we didn't even have classes yet, and they started to prepare our cover letters, our CV with us. So that was like the very first item on the agenda. That was in September. I think already in August, before uni started, we started to do a CV template with them. And then September, we started to send out applications. And from beginning of September until like mid-September, you don't have any classes. They expect you to apply to things. And the reason for that is just it's different for the master in finance and for the master in management, because usually when you're doing master in finance, I'm not sure how many of you guys want to go there, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But usually when you want to do a master, when you're doing a master's in finance, you then want to go into an investment bank or a finance role, and the internship openings open quite soon. Already beginning of September, you can already apply for your summer internship. And a bit later in the year, like October, November, usually I think the off cycles come out as well, which will all start the year after either June or September. So the application process is quite soon, and if you want to do it properly, normally you're not lucky. A bit of luck is there as well, but normally you send out like 50, 60, 70 applications if you're in investment banking. But then you can my management friends, they usually do consulting. Some of them do corporate, but I know more about the consulting world. Their applications start a bit later, which is why they actually started courses earlier than the finance stream. So they had courses right away, and then they had a bit of a gap in October so that they can apply, right? So the consultancy applications start in October. But yeah, you have to know that when you do a 1-year master, especially the first 4 months, depends a bit on your ambition, right? Do you want to have a nice year at your master's degree, or do you want to really have a nice job? So you have to balance it a little bit. But the better the job needs to be, the more hustle you need to put into it, and yeah, so especially the first period is going to be a bit tougher. But
okay, so that's why, for instance, when I talk, especially when we have the meeting in January, you see Luna is still with us. The meeting in January, especially for those who are from 25, it's very important that also you have internships. Okay, so imagine if you start LBS. And you're in the master in finance and you have no work experience in investment banking, it's going to be very difficult to land a job in investment banking, because they're going to ask you questions. They're going to see if you understand what investment banking is about. So basically, that's why you have to prepare that long in advance. For instance, even those who will graduate in 24, and if, for instance, you want to go for a master in finance, I would suggest that you have already a job in IB this summer, because right after the summer internship, you will have already to send your CV and your cover letter to investment bank. So it's very important that you already have the experience, that you fresh out of IB. You agree, Yunus? By the way, that's what you did. How much work experience did you have before you joined before LBS? You had quite a lot already.
Yeah, but I had quite a lot, but not necessarily in investment banking. I struggled quite a bit, I have to say, with finding a job. But I'm also going to blame it a bit on the job market. But still, it took me quite a while. So when I decided to join something, I actually decided in April, and I joined an off-cycle role. So what Hubert was saying, you would already know in end of December or November.
Yeah.
That would be for the summer internships that I didn't get. But there are also some other reasons within the banks. There are some, you need to be in your penultimate year normally, which is exactly what Hubert is saying. So you're going to have your best master's year if you already did your internship before and have a returning offer, because then you don't need to apply. And then you can just enjoy your life for a year. That's great. But if you don't have that, then you need to put a bit more work into it. You need to either go for the summer internships or the off cycles, or in consultancy, you would go directly for the full time, or you can go to PE funds or whatever. And there are quite a few possibilities in these two fields. But as I said, it's going to take some work.
Yeah. So basically, what I want to say is that preparing, we're going to come to the preparation for the masters. The preparing is, of course, getting the application, getting the test, but if ultimately the objective of this masters is to get a good job. And usually people, they get a good job in finance or in consulting, or they create their companies. Okay. And that's something that you prepare beforehand. Okay. So it's very, very important. That's why at MBA Center, we insist a lot on everything. Well, we try to have a global approach, even though, of course, when Yunus came to see me, he wanted to apply first to LBS, and then what is next was less important. But between the time he came and now, we have changed our approach, and we try to basically develop an awareness in our students, saying them, you're not going to land a job at Goldman Sachs just because you're an LBS MFA. You know, it's a long process, okay? And this process has to start as soon as possible. Okay? So Laure, tell me, have you got questions, Laure? What question do you want to have?
First of all, thank you for the explanation. Actually, I had a question about GMAT.
Oh, yeah.
Because I took the GMAT Focus Edition, and I saw that for some schools, they ask the GMAT, and when we have to fill the space where you put the grades, you don't have the option to say you took a GMAT Focus Edition, and so we don't have the same grades. And for London Business School, I also wanted to know, do you think it's possible to apply even though the GMAT grade isn't like amazing?
What GMAT score? What's your GMAT score? Did you take the Focus Edition or the normal GMAT? Which one? You took the Focus one?
Yes, I took the Focus one.
And what score did you get? What score did you get?
I had the equivalent of a 600 score on the GMAT Classic.
It's a bit weak, huh? 600, it's a bit weak. Huh? Now, what do you think, 600, it's a bit weak. If you're aiming, especially, you have to see that the most difficult masters to have are the masters in finance. They are the most selective. If you have a look at average GMAT scores, that's, for instance, if you have a look at I don't know, HEC, we said that for the Grande École program, it's a 710, and for the MIF, it is 720. Huh? So they are the best students. The best students go for MIF, okay, or MFA at the LBS, okay. Because what? Because the best students work in investment banking in reality, because that's the best job, the well-paid job. Number one in life is investment banker. Number two consultant, and you can say what you want. Okay. Alors, Yunus,
can I ask
600? 600. Is it enough? 600 according to you?
Can I just know, Laure? Do you want to do the master in finance, or do you want to do the master in management?
You want to do master in finance?
No, I want to do master in management. Sorry.
Yeah. Management, right? Because you said you want to do
finance.
Sales in the beginning.
No, she wants to do master in finance, Yunus. MIF, that's what you said, or MIF?
I don't think so.
Management.
Yeah. Management.
Management.
Yeah,
okay.
management.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Okay. So that's different. I would say that so the worst. I'm not gonna inflate this GMAT score with the averages, because some people have 780, and that's why the GMAT average goes up by so much. I would say the median is a bit lower. It's a better metric here. It's around 680. That's one thing, and the second thing is maybe the worst. I think the worst GMAT in my cohort was 640, and the worst GMAT in the cohort below, so in the MIM, it was 620. So maybe 600 is a sample juste. I don't know if you're French, but maybe.
It's a bit yeah. And you see, Yunus, 620. Imagine that the guy who got the 620 had 3 nationalities, spoke 5 languages, had a bachelor in philosophy from Oxford. Okay, I would like to see who is the person who got the 620. You see, that he was a tennis champion. You understand? It depends. You see, Lord, they are ready. But for an ESCP graduate, 600, no. Okay. Plus, there are many ESCP will apply. This year, from ESCP only, we expect 50 applicants. 50 just from ESCP. Okay. So no, 600 is not enough. You agree? So try to be close to the median score, 680.
Yeah, it's something. It's your own ambition, right? So do you want to do as good as possible, or do you not? Right. So you can try to do your GMAT again. You can also say, I don't want to do this with my life, and then you just apply with your 600. You might get lucky, but I'm just saying, or what is Hubert is saying is, it's not the only criteria, but obviously the higher this GMAT is, the better is for you and your chances to get a good university. I would say it's the only thing. There are also some units where you don't need the GMAT. That's also
yes. Basically, if you want to do a master's in management, so you can apply to Imperial, you can apply to IE, you can apply to such programs, but at the same time, it's not the same. Of course, you have to aim, you have to target the best. Okay. So Luna, you have a question, Luna? Because Luna, she's yeah. Maybe we'll have individual meetings after that, Laura. And there will be individual meetings as well, so you can ask your personal questions. Luna, you have questions to ask, Luna, or you have questions because Luna, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, I don't know yet what master I exactly wanna do, but I know I will do the GMAT soon. But my question is more, Yunus, how did you decide where to go and what you want to do? Was it always a passion of yours, or did you just follow your gut feeling, or how did you decide that this is the path you want to follow?
It's a very good question. So for me, maybe I may even advise that to you, but it's always difficult to know that what were you good at. Did you I think I understand you did your bachelor's degree. So for me, I tried to follow what I was good at during that bachelor degree. So I was especially, so I when I started ESCP, I always said to myself, like, what is banking? I don't want to go into banking. It's an old, rusty industry, nothing for me. That was first year. That's why I didn't do the spring weeks in the banks. Second year, I had my first finance course. I really liked it. I was quite good at it. And from there on, I decided, because at ESCP, I don't know. So yeah, you can specialize in a field. So specialized in finance. So I did most of my electives in finance. The reason being because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with numbers. I enjoyed looking at companies. So this is the reason why I specialized in finance. And since I was enjoying that at university during my bachelor's degree, I then decided I would like to pursue this as a specialization in my master's degree, because I already have a bachelor in business and management. So I didn't feel that I need to do another bachelor in business and management, because it would be the same thing, just faster. Right? Then you're just doing it for
Yes.
the diploma, basically. But that's why I wanted to specialize in something. And you can also do economics. It would have been interesting for me as well. I applied to the one at LSE, but I didn't get into that. But that would have also been interesting. But the reason why I did finance is, again, I like to work with numbers. And within then the finance master, I discovered this investment banking world. For now, I like it. So yeah, but what I want to say is it comes step by step, right? It's not something that I wasn't born and I was like, I want to be an investment banker. That changed over time.
Okay.
And do it now, and maybe I do it for a while, or I do something else later. I do my own thing. So I'm going step by step. I don't have a plan, or in 5 years I want to do this. I want to learn as much as possible in the places where I am, from the best people possible. Want to meet some people, to go my own path and see what comes towards me. And it's more my life philosophy.
What you have to see, Luna, as well, now you have to see that when you apply for LBS, they will ask you, when you apply to LBS, they will ask you for your carapace.
Yeah.
They have a question. You see they have two questions, and one of the questions is about the carapace. By the way, they have changed the question from the time you apply, you lose, but there's always a question on what you want to do after the masters. And of course, they will question you on that. If you say, I want to be an entrepreneur, and you apply for a master's that has nothing to do with entrepreneurship or whatever, they would be surprised. But at the same time, Luna, it's very important that it's normal that at your age you don't know what you want to do, but already what you have done is very impressive. Okay, because you see, Luna, she's an entrepreneur and she has created gym rooms in Indonesia. Okay, so it's a bit unusual when she was 19 years old. So you see, of course, she already has a business that works, but at the same time, be careful. Because you see, a business that works at your age, maybe you can have different expectations later on. Okay, what you're doing is very well, Luna, but can you leave from your company? Also try to talk to your parents. Try to take one step backward to say, okay, I have achieved something more like it's encouraging, maybe to go further. Tara Françoise. So what is your question, Tara? Tara,
yeah. So it's more, it's not really related to LBS. It's more about ESSEC, and it's a more general question. I was not able to find the information on the internet, so that's why I'm asking. But I've heard that ESSEC Business School, they don't accept all the diplomas, because I did the IB, International Baccalaureate, and they say that they don't accept students that gain a international baccalaureate, even though they did like a bachelor in management. And so I wanted to know if you knew anything about this information.
Basically, for the Grand École program, you see, Tara, is going to be difficult. As I told you, you can expect the specialized masters, so the master in data science, the master in whatever. I'm a bit surprised by what you say, because I have IB students who went to ESSEC. It depends on what you study. As you know, when you do the IB, you have standard fields, and you have specialization. So have you specialized in mathematics or not at all, Tara? Of course, if you did only philosophy and geopolitics, maybe it's not enough. In which field did you specialize in your IB?
No, I specialized in economics, business, and English.
Yeah, I know that, for instance, for the bachelors, it's a problem. For sure, for the bachelors, it's an issue. But at the same time, get a good GMAT. Get a good GMAT. Maybe it won't work for ESSEC. I cannot tell you, but I have IB students who go to masters. I'm surprised by what I hear, but get a good GMAT. Of course, if you say I did no math and my GMAT score is 550, or they will say, look, you have a problem with math. Okay, but yes, we'll have to do some research about this. Me, I know that, of course, I know that for the bachelors, because I send a lot of students, for instance, to Bocconi, and I know that Bocconi, if you have not studied math, they don't take you for sure. That's the problem of the IB, that you can get the IB without math, and math is always very useful. So yeah, we'll make a research, but another reason why you should get a good GMAT score, because you can compensate. Yourself, Yunus, you have a French baccalaureate. You have a bac français. You have a French baccalaureate.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you did some math. What did you do? You did ES. You have
I did ES, yeah.
ES. And ES, you have some mathematics. Okay, so it was enough. It was enough. Yeah. But yes, so Tara, yes, and if he doesn't work with ESSEC, he will work with another one. Okay, but it's true to have no. It's not that they are against the IB, but usually they want people who have studied mathematics as a because you have standard and you have advanced whatever, so they want an advanced mathematics. Yeah, in general. Yeah, in general. But compensate by good GMAT, Tara. If you get 720, they won't mind. Okay. Nathanael.
Okay, thank you.
Nathanael, what question have you got, Nathanael?
So you already responded to my question about GMAT, but I just want to know what is the place of the grades at ESCP that
the GPA, you mean? The GPA or the GMAT? The GPA.
Yeah, the GPA.
How important is the GPA, Yunus? Is it that important? It depends on the school. Okay, it depends a lot on the school.
So wait, Nathanael, you want to know how important the GPA is?
Yeah.
Okay. 4 for your master's degree. Okay. I mean, as I said, there are different criteria that universities look at when they see your application, right? So there's going to be one bucket that's going to be GMAT, one bucket is going to be the grade that you received at your university, one bucket is the experiences you had in the past, maybe internships, one bucket is going to be, especially for schools in London, your internationalism. What have you done to go outside of your comfort zone? What have you done for personal growth? What are your career? This is like more the essays question. So what is your career aspiration, etc.? Can you frame that properly? These are like, I think, in the interview, these are the main boxes, and you need to try to tick them. So you can, for example, if you say you're not too international, maybe you can make that up with good grades at ESCP. If you have low GMAT, you can make that up with good grades at ESCP. If you have lower grades at ESCP, you can make it up with a good GMAT. But there are some, at least I would say 4 of the 5 boxes needs to tick somehow well to get further. So what I want to say is, to conclude, your grade, everything you do is important. So you should do your best in anything that you're doing. Is it for you, as I said, for your experiences, for your grades, for your GMAT? Try your best, try to tick all the boxes, and it will increase your chances.
Thank you.
So basically, by the way, at LBS, there's a question, do you think that your grades are a good indicator of your ability to do well at LBS? I don't know if you remember. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are many ways to answer. Of course, if you get a 19, I have a student, for instance, I don't know, Yunus, if you remember Sarah Follens. So Sarah Follens, she got accepted to LBS, HEC, everywhere, and she had a 19 out of 20. So of course, my grades indicates my ability to do well at LBS. Now, if your grades are like 13 or 14 out of 20, what can you say? You can say that that basically there are many ways of getting 13 out of 20. You can say year one I was not good, but year one I was better. Then I was better at difficult classes, etc. So if we work on the application, we'll find ways. And you have initially where you have optional essays, we'll find ways. But of course, if your grades are bad and your GMAT is bad, it will be difficult to get a good school. Huh? Don't forget that your GMAT is a second chance. Don't forget that your GMAT is more important than your grades in Europe. Okay. Now, of course, if you want to study at MIT and you have a 13 out of 20, it's going to be difficult to get MIT. Huh? I would say that my MIT applicants, they will have first or at least 16 out of 20. US schools, I would say, are very, very cautious regarding GPAs. European schools, if you apply to LBS, you have a 13 out of 20, but your GMAT is 690, it's fine. And your application is good, it's fine. Okay, Natalia? Okay. Anyway, after that, we need to discuss with you case by case. Huh? Okay? Well. For instance, I don't know if you have heard, about this program, Yunus, is called a deferred MBA. So you see, you can apply for an MBA on the last year of your bachelor. Okay? So of course, Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, they have something called a deferred MBA. So you apply now when you're 2021, you work for 2-3 years, and after 2-3 years, you go to Harvard or Wharton or Stanford. Of course, if you apply to Harvard deferred MBA and you have a 13 out of 20, they will never take you. Anyway, if we work together, I will never offer you to even apply to these schools. Huh? Anyway, there will be, if we work together, there will be an orientation session, and we'll determine together the list of the schools so that we make sure that you can apply to the right school. Huh? Okay, so I'm not going to send you to schools where you have no chance, Nathaniel. Okay, Julio, you have questions for us? What are your questions?
Yeah, I had some question in mind about maybe the deadlines, because we didn't touch this argument yet, this topic yet. So
the deadlines. So yes, can you explain, Yunus, how the deadlines work, or from when to when you can apply to LBS, for instance, and what you advise? Should we apply early? Should we apply late? In the middle? How important is it? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so I think in general for the British schools, it's advisable to apply as early as possible. Specifically for LBS, you would have different cohorts. I think there are 4 application rounds. So you have your first round until November, if I'm not mistaken, or that's already the second round. I don't know, it's quite early. I know I applied on the very last day of the first round, which I think was the 3rd of November. So I think it's important in the sense that they're filling the seats, right? So in every round, they will be filling the seats. And what is the good thing about applying early is that even though maybe you don't have the perfect profile, they may put you on the wait list still, and then they're going to see into the other rounds, and then you might get it from the wait list into the program. So I think that's why it increases your chances, of course, if you apply early rather than if you apply later, where they already filled 95% of the seats and there is no wait list anymore. They're just looking to fill the final 5%, and you're competing also against the ones on the wait list towards the end. So I think it shows that if you apply early, it shows that you thought about this, that you already worked very hard to get your application ready, and that's going to be appreciated. So of course, like everything in life, also for jobs afterwards, you need to start as early as possible. If you want to increase your chance afterwards, everything is possible. But if you want to make your life easier, start early.
Yeah, apply early. So basically, you have to see that schools in general have 3 rounds, but they can have 4 or 5. We have one until in October. They have one after Christmas. They have one in March, and even some schools have rounds until May. For instance, instead you can apply until May. Yes, apply early also because you have to organize your life. Huh? So try to apply early. So your BSc 24 or 25, Julio? 24?
24.
Yeah, so it start to apply. Anyway, even if you start now, since you have to take the GMAT, prepare the application, you won't be ready before February, March. Huh? Okay. How long did it take you, Yunus, to be ready to prepare everything between the GMAT and application? It took you more than 2-3 months. You agree? No?
Yeah, it was a bit annoying of a period. It took a bit of time, yeah, because I started to do my GMAT final year ESCP. I also had to do my thesis. At the same time, I also needed to perform well. So the takes quite a toll on your life if you want to be good in 3 different things at the same time. Then right away I started my internship, so I still didn't have time to only study for the GMAT. Then I started to work, to do my civil service at the same time, doing the GMAT and doing applications. So that was a nice period. But yeah, it just takes what it takes.
Yeah, so basically it's a long process, huh? Okay. But for instance, for the BSc 24, what I would do with them, we'll prepare the application at the same time as we prepare the GMAT, to make sure that we are ready by February, March. Okay, and even if we do both at the same time, we're gonna be ready before February, March. Okay, so yes, Julio, you have to hurry up. And so now, of course, I would say that the application process also depends a lot on the nationality. Obviously, you Italian. But you don't have that many Italian applicants. Okay, so you can apply. See, February, March is still possible. But of course, if you're Indian, don't apply later than January. Okay, so basically, yes, be careful with it. Camille Lecomte.
Thank you.
Camille, you have questions for us, Camille?
Not for the moment, that's clear, but how can we have like your feedbacks and so on? You spoke about individual
there will
meetings.
be individual assessment. Yeah, individual assessment. And Xenia, she will contact you for individual assessment. So how did we do the assessment, Yunus? How did it work together when we had the initial meeting?
Didn't you send me a PowerPoint and I needed to fill that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that because then I needed to think a little bit about like the questions, what do I want to actually do in 3 years? I think it's good to do these applications as well to get your thoughts a bit in order and to see what is important to you, why you're doing what you're doing. So I'm deviating, but so you're going to have a PowerPoint, I think still. There are going to be some questions and it's going to be a personal fit assessment. So he's going to probably ask you what are your grades and what are the achievements you made in the past and what are your goals in the future, basically, and putting all of these together. It's going to be a tailored solution.
Okay, so basically, yes, we are going to take into account 5 things: your grades, try to anticipate the GMAT, okay, then your international exposure, the quality of the work experience, your leadership, and the right fit with the program. And depending on these 5 criteria, we will have a pretty good idea of what you can do. Camille. So basically, that's the 5 criteria that are taken into account. For instance, in the case of Yunus, when he introduced himself, you see that, for instance, his international exposure and already his exposure also to the finance sector was key in the decision of LBS to admit him. Okay, so basically, we have to analyze your profile before we can say anything. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Clara, you did not talk, Clara. Assessment.
Yes, I'm
so what
here.
is your question, Clara?
I don't have really a lot of questions because most of them Yunus answered them. So thank you for the information.
Okay. Now, basically, before we go to Jean, because there's Jean Truding, so can you please, Yunus, explain what it is to prepare the GMAT, prepare the application, have an interview, and can you explain the process from inside?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question, I guess. Let me think about it. So, as I said, maybe I'm going to keep it short. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a bit stressful, of course. It's a bit annoying to take the GMAT on either you do it in person or you do it online. Doesn't matter. It's still going to be now I need to perform for the next 4 hours. It's quite a difficult test, I have to say. But I think if you're well prepared, you need to practice, you need to do your best. I think so. For me, always, I have this philosophy that as long as I give my best, I have no regrets, right? So I'm going to give my best to study for the GMAT. I'm going to give my best to study for an interview. And then if the day wasn't right, then it wasn't right. And then it's just maybe wasn't meant to be. Okay, so so don't worry too much about it. It's a bit stressful, but you're going to get through it. Prepare as much as you can, as much as you want. You're going to do the best you can. And then I think even though it's going to be a bit stressful, you're going to do very well and go wherever it was meant for you to go, I would say. But so again, from the inside, it takes a bit of time. I think it's like the most important thing that I want to mention. So now I work full time. okay, that's also a bit challenging, but I have to say that still the period where I was applying was even more challenging, because you also work on the weekends non-stop. You maybe already have a job where you have your studies, you work afterwards, you work before you. It's just like a difficult period, I have to say. But we're gonna get through it.
It's stressful. Huh? So basically, what it is to apply. So I would say that the most difficult part of the application is the GMAT or the GRE. Okay. If you don't make it, we will have to apply to schools that do not ask for GMAT. For instance, another student, Pierre-Marc, who could not come today because now he's in Georgetown, we apply to a program that doesn't ask for any GMAT, so we apply to Georgetown. Huh? Okay, because he could not make it with the GMAT. So there are options. Huh? If you study at Georgetown, BU, Imperial, they will take you without any tests. And then, of course, the application. So the application is the fun part of it, but you have to spend time. And then once you have been selected by the school, you have an interview. So sometimes interviews can be like at LBS, no matter where you apply, like a motivation interview. Okay, so basically tell me about yourself, motivation for the program. And some interviews can be very technical. So for instance, if you apply to the HEC MIF, the interview will be extremely technical, like it's a bit like an IB, inverted comma, like an IB interview. Huh? Okay, without case studies, but they go very deep. They want to know how much you know about finance. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. What else? What else they want to say? So that's the process. And now some schools even add video interviews. Didn't have video interviews, Yunus, but some schools add something called the Cara Talent interviews, where you have about 5 or 6 questions to answer, and these questions are recorded. They analyze your behavior, your accent, the way you speak, the way you behave, etc. So they use an algorithm to test you. Huh? Okay. So Jean, last questions. What is the last question for you, Jean? Jean Truding.
Hi. I just wanted to ask 2 simple questions. So first, I wanted to ask, when did you start preparing the GMAT? I don't know if you answered this before, I'm not sure. And how did you prepare, just with textbook, or did you do some sort of external preparation with some sort of course, with a preparation week, or did you take any extra steps? And also, how are difficulties compared, for example, in HSC's Master in Finance, which is like the top one, and some of the lower one, some of the lower school, for example, in France, in London, and etc.
Okay, can you repeat the second question?
He wants to know about the GMAT preparation process. You see, overall.
Yeah, no, that I go. But okay, let me answer for that. If I don't answer everything, just ask again. So I think, so if I reflect about my personal journey, my GMAT journey, I did something wrong with my, I don't know. So I started so I was in my final year of the bachelor's degree, so I have 6 more months to go. It's January. And I needed to apply in September afterwards for LBS 9 months later. And I started to prepare for the GMAT in January. Okay, and I did the GMAT for the first time in May. I did it again in July, and did it again in September. I did it 3 times. I think I was just doing something wrong, because I was trying on my own, right? I was always telling me, okay, let's wait for the application. I want to do my GMAT first. And then he was always like, yeah, let me help you with the GMAT. I was like, no, I have my course. So it wasn't a good decision. So I would, like, if you already work with someone like Hubert who has experience, I would take most advantage out of it. He knows, right? He has so much experience. Just let him guide you. It's the best thing he can do with all the applications you're doing. I think it was quite a big help, because he structures your thoughts. He guides you. He has experience. You need someone with experience. I can assure you that maybe it doesn't look that way, but I know a lot of people, especially, like, for example, that studied with me. They don't talk about it all that much, but a lot of people had a lot of help, okay, from outside. It's just how you get in my opinion. Like, okay, either you're brilliant, or you just need some structure, because the day only has 24 hours. And so back to your question, when did I start? I started in January. So as I said, it was a 9 months process for me. But if you do it properly, with a coach, and more importantly, because when you do just a textbook, or when you do just like an online course, it's difficult for you to really study the pain points, right? The points where you're very not good. But if you have like a tailored help, there you can pinpoint the pain points, and then you can work on them, and then you can make that better. I think that's just time saving rather than always doing all the exercises all the time, and then you forget some and then you do it again. So take the guidance, I would say, from Iber if you want to do it with him.
Well, basically, when you work with MBA Center, we have basically we're going to give you many tools. So tool number one, we are now a part of GMAT and target test prep. So we give you access to GMAT and target test prep. So target test prep if you prepare the GRE, and GMAT if you prepare the GMAT. So basically, I know that, by the way, you use one of these platforms. So basically, it's included in the preparation at MBA Center. Then we have weekend classes, okay, and then we give you also access to a virtual library with official guides. So basically, and then if you need more, you can have private tutoring extra. So basically, we make sure that you can do well. So now that we use, for instance, GMAT, our average score is about 720 today. So it's quite high. Students are very motivated, and what is strange is that we are, as you know, we are a Euro-Indian company, and today I would say that the average GMAT of our Indian student is 725, and the Europeans 715. So our Europeans do very, very well because we prepare them well because we use algorithmic platform. So GMAT is interesting, or target to expect, because they will adapt to your level. Okay, then you have book classes. Of course, you need at least 3 months if you want to be ready for the GMAT. I don't know how long you spend, but yes, you have to spend a lot of time. And as you know, we have also people who can appear at MBA Center. We can do private tutoring because we understand that some are not ready. Some have difficulties with the test, and they limit themselves to 640, 650. So we have to help them reach another level. And usually it comes true. So of course they go from 650 to 680. I'm not saying that they go from 650 to 750, but 680 you in LBS median score, for instance. Okay, so yes, the GMAT is important, and then you have the application. Unlike Yunus, so now we write the essays. We stop the thing. We don't tell you tell me something, we'll assess. Now we completely rewrite everything because we have full timers whose job is just to rewrite the thing. We don't advise on this. So I give you advice to write the outline, you write something, and they are completely rewritten. Because now I have full timers who just do that all day long. Okay, so I changed my department, so it is highly centralized now. So the way I've changed MBA Center in the last 6 months, implementing TTP or GMAT, and having full-time coaches working with me, no longer consultant. Voilà. So there's a dedicated team, dedicated technology to work with you. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Because anyway, there will be one-on-one assessment that we start to conduct next week. They will be run by myself. There will be an account manager. There will be myself. By the way, you can always stay in contact with Yunus, especially if you want to do a program at London Business School and apply in investment banking. And it's really worth it. You're going to learn a lot. Any other question from Camille, from Clara, from Giulio, from Jean, from Luna, from Nathanael? Any other question? Anybody has a question?
Yeah, can I ask quickly to Yunus, what did he get on the GMAT?
I had 640. So I have the worst GMAT in the cohort. But as I said, I also have quite the international background. I'm fluent in 4 languages. I had quite a bit of work experience, and I had good essays, and I was in the top, I think, 4% at ESCP. So as I said, we have the buckets. While one bucket was not that high, my other buckets were quite good, I would say.
Okay. So basically what I would say is that you can have one thing that is not in the median, but if the rest stands out, it's fine. Okay. The thing that they really appreciated with you is that they like your internationalism. They like that the fact that you have 2 nationalities, you're Austrian and German, and you have also Turkish background. So and you studied in a French school, and because you have a French baccalaureate, so of course that's the type of thing that they love. Okay. Giulio had a question as well. Last question from Giulio. No, where the question for us? Yeah, I don't know.
I think Giulio just asked, but Camille, I think, had the question.
It's Camille. What the question? Camille left. Camille. I don't know. So basically, what will happen now? So Yunus, thank you very much, and thank you for your time. What will happen now? There will be one-on-one. So first, for the 24, you have to hurry up because none of you seems to be ready. Laura has taken the GMAT, but she got the 600, so we have to work hard now. If you work with us, we will start to work on the application right away, okay? And the GMAT at the same time, because since we need to apply by February, we have no time to waste. We cannot say, let's take the GMAT. Okay, I don't want to add more stress. So know that when you started to prepare for the GMAT, we still have time for the application. The problem is that when we left time, when you're the month before the GMAT and you have to focus 12 hours per day. Huh? Yeah, Camille, you have a question, Camille? Maybe? Camille? Hello? I don't know, Camille. So thank you very much, Yunus. Huh? We'll write to you this week for one-on-ones. Huh? Okay? Voilà.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Luna. Thank you,
Thank you so
Nathan.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
to
you very
Have a
much.
good day.
Basically,
Have a good
what I want
day.
to tell you is that the year Yunus applied, I had 3 from ESCP. One got what was the name of the French guy who went to LBS MIM? I forgot his name. Think I remember? Yunus. There was a guy who. So we had one who got LBS MIM. Yunus got LBS MFA, and the one who didn't have the GMAT, he got Georgetown, which is not bad. And there was Sarah, who will be our guest in January, who got HEC. So we have good results. Okay. If you have a good GMAT, I will send you to INSEAD or LBS minimum. Okay. If you don't have a good GMAT, if you don't take the GMAT, well, it will be more difficult, but still we can apply to Imperial, to BU, to Georgetown, to IE. There are other programs available. Okay. So thank you very much, Yunus, for being with us. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Let me know if you need anything. And voila, see you soon. We'll have one-on-ones starting from next week. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.